Hi, this is Congressman Tom Cole, 4th District of Oklahoma. This is another one of our weekly chats. This has been a pretty consequential week in Congress. There's a lot of different pieces of legislation that have been moving through the process. That's always true as we approach an election. People are trying to get things done, trying to move ahead. But the most important one by far was simply, are we going to keep the government funded? All funding runs out at the end of the fiscal year, which is September 30th. This is pretty close to that date. Congress was leaving. I wish we'd gotten all of our funding work done. That is, all the 12 appropriations bills that get things, maintain our military, maintain our government as a functioning entity passed. And we have made a lot of progress. All 12 of those bills are out of the House committees, subcommittees on appropriations. 5 of them, covering about 70% of the funding, are across the floor. Quite frankly, our colleagues on the other side of the rotunda in the Senate haven't done as well. They haven't gotten all their bills out of the subcommittee. They haven't gotten a single one across the floor. So we were going to have to either let the government shut down or do something to maintain it, at least through the elections, and come back after the election and try and sort these things out and have a better budgetary outlook. So I was very proud yesterday when people put aside partisan differences and we had a substantial bipartisan vote to keep the government open during a consequential election season. Frankly, the substantial majorities of both parties in the House of Representatives voted to keep the government going at current spending levels, and the United States Senate did the same thing. Again, bipartisan, a substantial majority. And so now the government is funded through December 20th at current levels. We're going to be back in a lot less time than that. Immediately after the elections, we'll be back in session to try and sort out the spending deal and put in place a deal for a much longer period of time, and frankly, hopefully to come to a compromise. I think the critical period, or people in that, will be who's the next president-elect going to be. And all of us, have the person we hope wins, but the reality is we're going to have one, and so that person will have a lot to say about what Congress does in the remainder of this term. If that person, be it Vice President Harris or, in full disclosure, I'm Republican, so obviously I favor former President Trump. If they want to come to a deal before the end of the year, I think they'll tell the members of their respective parties to do that, and we'll achieve that deal. If, on the other hand, the president-elect wants to deal with this problem themselves, we'll probably have another continuing resolution and work with the incoming president. Now, you have to remember, the Senate is in play this time, so you could have a different Senate, different party control. Currently, it's a Democratic Senate. It's very likely, in my view, to be a Republican Senate next time. The House of Representatives is razor thin, just as it is right now, and it could go either way. Either party could win that. So, again, this probably wasn't the best time to make decisions. The American people are getting ready to speak with a pretty loud voice in November at the election, and we probably ought to wait and let them check in, because they'll tell us who the next president's going to be, and they'll tell us who's going to control the Senate, who's going to control the House, and that makes it a lot easier to come to an arrangement and a deal that reflects broadly the will and the outlook of the American people. So Congress actually did the right thing this week. It actually decided we're not going to let the government shut down. We're not going to be in a dangerous period with our troops not being paid. We're not going to be a situation where our Border Patrol is working but not getting compensated. We're not going to be in a situation where the government doesn't pay the contracts that it owes, or that we jeopardize any of the essential services that Americans rely on. So you saw people of both sides work together and find common ground and put the interests of the American people ahead of their respective partisan desires. And honestly, that's the way the system is supposed to work. So, good day for Congress, good day for the country, but it only postpones tough decisions. To govern is to choose, as the old saying goes, and we need to choose the path of less spending rather than more, of prioritizing defense over non-defense in a dangerous time, but certainly also of making sure that the essential needs of the American people are met. In addition to the funding that this continuing resolution contained, We also, almost half this bill is simply a continuation of important programs that otherwise would run out. Things like flood insurance, and we face severe weather challenges right now. Things like TANF and WIC, important support programs for families that are in need. Those things are, all continued, and they'll be there for Americans to rely on. Important farm and agricultural programs, because I'm hoping in what's called the lame duck, that is the sit time after the election but before the new Congress arrives in January, we can get some things like the farm bill done, that we can again come to agreements on the appropriations deal, and we'll try to do that understanding who the new president is, because there's going to be a new president in January, and that person again, people certainly on their side of the aisle will want to work with them and try to achieve these objectives. So with that, it'll probably be a while before I talk to you. We may talk to you, while we're not in session. I'll be doing other things in my congressional district at home. Guess what? Campaigning like every other politician in the House of Representatives. We're all on the ballot, and then trying to do some other things to position myself to be effective in the next Congress for the people I'm privileged to represent. So in the meantime, good luck to you. God bless your family. Please stay safe, and please know that the essential services of government which you rely on have been funded and will be funded until Congress comes back into session after the next election, and certainly at that point we'll have the opportunity to visit again.